Aloha and welcome to Mystic Wisdom Dialogue, broadcasting here from the largest ocean in the world, from the little island of Kauai, in the neighborhood of Kapahi. Aloha everyone. Hey, komo mai. You're so welcome to join this dialogue. And I welcome your questions. They really help guide the process quite much. Yeah. Most channels work really well with questions because then the ethers open up and the answers show up. This morning I'm going to start with a song, and it's a dedication to the Holy Spirit, to the Aloha Spirit if you prefer, or even to your higher self, or directly to God. Song is called Messenger's Prayer, and I wrote it as a devotional to the Most High for guiding me and helping me experience my life in a more peaceful way, you might say. Ordain me to speak your words. Teach me to heal. Anoint me to sing your praise, filling me with light. Hold me in your loving arms, one with the sun. Take away all thoughts of separateness, showing me all as one. Filled with courage to share our love. My life is yours. Open my heart and show me the way through the truth and the light. Truth and the light. Quiet me to hear your voice. I can feel angels all around, lifting me above all my fear, sustaining me with your love. Filled with courage to share our love. My life is yours. So open my heart and show me the way through the truth and the light. The truth and the light. Walk with me everywhere I go. You carry me right through the emptiness, filling me with your gentle grace, showing me just how to love. I am filled with courage to share our love. Our lives are now one. My heart is opening the way through the truth and the light. The truth and the light. You walk with me everywhere I go, teaching me, showing me, revealing me to be loved. Teaching me, showing me, revealing me to be love. Wow. Well, had a very interesting week, and it kind of prompted what I want to share with you today. Yeah, it's about this forgiveness thing, this oponopono, which reminds me I need to take off the music setting. Okay. Hope we'll be happy I did that. Yeah, so ho'oponopono. What is ho'oponopono? I speak about this regularly, all the time, because the miracle in my life kind of prompted me to write a couple of books that you're aware of. The Sacred Apology series. And briefly, the miracle was 17 years of dysfunctional communication between me and my first wife and my 3 sons. Yeah, there were no real civil flowing conversations for 17 years until I learned until I learned the science of how the mind sees the world and how that plays into forgiveness. Yeah. It was mind-blowing. Yeah, I practiced for a couple of weeks, and then the last 17 years just disappeared. It's just completely like it was never there. And even now, today, over 20 years since we've been divorced, and now we're friends. We haven't had an argument since. So I want to share with you the science of this, because I had a rider in my Uber peace wagon, I like to call it, and it was this couple, and I was taking them to the airport, and they were sharing with me where they're going. I often ask, where are you going? And they said they were going to a family reunion in Colorado. And they weren't happy about it. And I was like, why? I know families can be challenging, yet what's the big deal? And so the dude, he starts going off about how he's constantly attacked by the patriarch sitting at the table or wherever they are. And boy, he said some really nasty things that would come out of his mouth. And I could feel him his whole aura just kind of like shrinking up with anger and frustration of not really wanting to go, but having to deal with it. And his wife, she too was in agreement with what's happening. And so I shared with them that I teach forgiveness for a living, and would they like some advice? And they said, yeah, we would really like to make this trip, mo better. So here's the skinny here, because we all have relatives, and we all have people who trigger us. And so I'm going to lay this out for you best that I can in a simple way. And hopefully you'll be inspired to take it deeper. Because there are many sources in the world for Ho'oponopono studies. But it's like A Course in Miracles. A lot of people touch on Ho'oponopono. They learn the 4 lines, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you, and they're applying it in their life the best they can. Yet what I see with those people that come to me for training is that they don't really have the science of it all. They're playing on the surface and getting random results. And that's because the deeper aspects of it is what I want to share with you today. How to use those 4 lines and why they're perhaps not working and how they can work much better. And so I told them, this beautiful couple, local here in Kauai, sitting in the back seat, okay, now, first of all, when we took the luggage out of the car, we put it on the sidewalk in front of the kiosk to check in. I looked him straight in the eye, put my hand on his shoulder, and I said, look, even though he has no idea how to love you, it's not in his programming. And so he is reaching out with sarcasm to get attention, to get the love that he needs. But what's real, I said to him, look him right in the eye, what's real, my hand on his shoulder, is that he actually loves you. And the guy was like, he got it. And I said, so if you can forgive him for not knowing how to love you and for manipulating ways to get attention from you, and look beyond the hurt of the sarcasm, just become transparent, let it go through, and look for where the love is. Ask your higher self. Ask the Holy Spirit. Ask God, where is the love? As he's attacking you, have this own self-dialogue. Where's the love? And looking for the love will, to a great degree, neutralize the anger and the frustration and the pain he's throwing at you from his own self. It will push it out of the way if you look for the love. And because the love is in the core, the love is in his heart, which is not open. And so that love, as it comes into his mind, into his programming, and receives the pain signal, it's projected onto others. Feels like condemnation. The same thing happened with my mother. But until I figured out that, all of her attacks, all of her condemnation was purely originated in her heart for how much she loved me, and then distorted in her mind through her belief system and her way of seeing the world. When I got that peace, and that's what I shared with him, and then I let them go. And so, this works beautifully. Why? Because the science of relationship is exquisite. You have to look at a couple of principles first. And the principles in Ho'oponopono and A Course in Miracles are exactly the same in this regard. First of all, there isn't another. Assuming complete responsibility for all your feelings when feeling attacked. when feeling betrayed, when feeling abused, when feeling disrespected, when feeling used. Address your own feelings first. You don't have to close your eyes once you make this a default. As soon as the pain comes in, the trigger comes in. You know, this happened to me this week, and I totally blew it. I am not a master of this stuff. That's why I teach it. Yeah, someone was it felt like betrayal. It felt like a disrespect. It felt like a violation of my privacy. And I reacted before implementing my own technology. But while I was reacting, I was feeling the love somewhere because of my new programming. The love was hovering around somewhere because I really love this person. And yet I was just moving too fast. I sent a text and she came back with, hey, I understand how you feel, yet this feels really abrasive, this text. And then I looked and I went, oh no. I shouldn't have reacted. And there's nothing wrong with that, because this is how we learn. This is exactly how we learn. We react, we react, we react. And according to A Course in Miracles, nothing is happening here anyway. This is all a dream in the mind of God that we're going to wake up to when we physically die. So, it's like, don't beat yourself up when you react, when you make a mistake. In Christian terminology, they call that a sin. It's just a mistake. It's a separation from the oneness, from the love that is actually present where you are. You just can't see it because of the program running. So, I text her back and I said, hey, yeah, I apologize for that reaction and not practicing what I teach. I see now that the trigger was, you came into my house and you moved some things around, and I'm like, that reminded me of my mother coming into my bedroom when I wasn't home and moving some things around. And boy, did that piss me off. And I didn't even know that issue, that wound was in there. And so that's what we're dealing with. When we're triggered, there's a wound underneath that's buried. You can bet your anything on that. So instead of blaming and shaming the one who triggered you, look within yourself and own your feelings. Inquire inside where they came from, the way I figured it out in tracking to my mother, Because we all have these little places in us that get triggered, especially by family. Yeah, you bet. That's their job, is to trigger us so we can grow. I don't know about you guys, but my mother, she clearly labeled me the black sheep in the family because I was so resistant to being controlled. I guess many of you can relate to that. Yeah. And so when we are out of control, what is going on, right? Well, address your mind and body connection. Yeah. The mother and the child. Yeah, what's going on there? So this couple, when they got out, and they were so profusely thankful for the advice, I got a text before they checked in that they were going to want to ride home. And I'm thinking, all right, I'll get a report about how it went with the family. And she also said they were going to open my books on the plane and start reading them. Reclaiming Original Innocence is book 1. And I think it's a great start for actually rooting what I'm sharing with you in a good way. So, another one of the protocols to help you adjust your mind and grow into a miracle mindset is adopt the idea that you don't have a clue what's going on. Let's all say that in first person and feel the truth in it. I don't have a clue what's going on. Come on, come on. Take a breath. Let's say it again. I don't have a clue what's going on. You feel the truth in that? And why is that true? Because we don't. We're not in someone else's shoes. We didn't create the universe. We didn't create all the synchronicities and serendipities of relationship with people meeting and having encounters for various kinds, for various reasons. It's impossible to be aware and know what's happening all the time with everyone. It's impossible. And it's absolutely pure arrogance to you that you know what someone else is thinking. There's a really big one. Pure arrogance. It is impossible for you to know what someone else is thinking. And of course the ego would say, hey, I can feel what they're thinking. You cannot feel what they're thinking. Why? Because a thought never leaves its source. True. A thought never leaves its source. Contemplate that for a moment. Close your eyes and watch your thoughts and see how they don't leave your mind. They're yours. This is why the idea of owning them is really important. And so what we do, we tend to use people. We pretend to know what they're thinking about us. And usually it's not very good. And this is how we crucify or condemn ourselves, using other people. It's a really big one. So now you see we're getting into the deeper science of what's going on in play. It's an energetic exchange is what's happening. In other words, everything you give to another, you receive immediately. So if you're giving them judgment, why wouldn't you think that they're judging you? You're judging them for judging you. Bingo. That went on with my mother for a very long time. I thought, oh, I don't have any judgments. My mind is so open. My heart is so open. The only judgment I have is that people are judging me. Oh, the mind, the ego. It's really funny when you take it apart. It doesn't feel good when you're in the midst of it. But when you look at it, it's really a comedy. It's a comdram. Yeah, we love comdrams. They're usually romantically related, which is a whole nother delusion we can talk about later. But nevertheless, so here we are. There, he told me at the dinner table that he's throwing these nasty remarks and he can hardly enjoy his food. And I said to him, well, don't take it personally, which is really, really hard to do when your triggers are being ignited. Pretty much impossible, but the idea is in place. So how do we not take it personally? Okay, well, you allow the words to be there that he's throwing at you. And then you look with your psychic vision, with your vision of your heart, into his heart. And feel the pain that he is carrying. They told me he was a war vet and he had, all this stuff. And when you find that pain that is speaking those words to you, you won't feel triggered anymore. You'll feel compassion moving from your heart to his for that tortured human. Now, his mind is in a loop. And that's why his being that is pure and innocent is not showing up. Because his mind and his pain body are in a loop. Now, you'll see people like this in the world. And, yeah. How do you feel when you come across a beggar walking down the street? I don't like that term. Let's just say someone who's chose a lifestyle of receiving from others. Notice that pattern when you walk past someone who's sitting there with a can or a basket or a bowl, and because that person, through the principle of there isn't another, is a reflection of our consciousness. We are projecting everything we see in the world, including that person. Everything. We are projecting Trump. We're projecting the wars. Why? A thought never leaves its source. As soon as we see something, we perceive something, we project, we know what it is. And what was that first principle? I don't have a clue what's going on. And you see how freeing that is? That doesn't make you passive, but it makes you peaceful enough to actually influence what is not pono in the world or in a relationship. I had another encounter this week with my first wife. And we were talking about someone we know and love very dearly, and how he's addicted to porno. And, oh, wow. She said, well, that's cool. Like, all men are addicted to porno. I was like, whoa, that didn't feel like truth. Granted, it's widespread, and only God knows how many. And there's the first principle that again, I don't have a clue what's going on. So I said, no, I don't think so. And she said, yeah, well, trust me, I'm a woman, I know. So when you come across this situation where someone is being really firm with you and about their truth, back off. Because if you enter the game of debate, your egos are going to be like this. And there's no end to that. It's like a little war. So I just thought to myself, well, that's her perspective. Everyone has an opinion, a perspective, a personal truth, and, who am I to judge that? So I just got quiet and saw my ego wanting to be right. There's a really big one. If you have a need to be right in an argument, you are entangled. Your energy is entangled in the drama of the ego dance. Guilt, shame, blame, all that stuff. Resentment. Yeah. And so I felt my ego wanting to go there and defend my truth. And went, wait a second. I'd rather have my freedom and my peace in this moment. So I just told my ego, back off. And I felt compassion for, once again, just like the vet, the pain that is not healed, that is speaking to know something for themselves. Yeah. And I remember all of a sudden that this is a dream, and that's a personal nightmare someone is having. That's okay. That's how we grow. That's how we learn, what we really want in life. So, let's go over these principles again. I don't have a clue what's going on. I love that one. That's actually kahuna science. When they were training the kahunas on Molokai in the Kahuna College, one of the first principles they learned was, I don't know. Got that from Uncle Harry. He's golden. I don't know. And when you say you don't know something, you open the realm of infinite possibilities to have it reveal to you what it is. How about that? So, there's that one. And I know relationship is the final frontier. So if you want peace, if you want freedom, that's a big one. I came across a passage in Morna Nalumaku Simeona's book, Dewdrops of Wisdom, this morning, on the subject of freedom. Now remember, she's channeling the Holy Spirit. She speaks for God in her writings here. And this idea on page 14 is called the legacy of freedom. So, you want to be free from the stresses of life. To be free is a simple task. The first thing you must do is choose freedom. What does it mean to choose freedom? To be detached from the world is to be free. Wow. Close your eyes and think about that for just a moment, because this is primal wisdom from God. Breathe vertically, breathe light, and listen to these words. Let them into your biocomputer deeply. What does it mean to choose freedom? To be detached from the world is to be free. Breathe that in. To be detached from the world is to be free. Are you willing to give up the world? Are you willing to give up your treasures, your possessions, your dreams? What does it mean to choose freedom? Are you willing to give others their due, their space, their freedom? Are you willing to give up your expectations of others? Are you willing to give up your children? All those you hold dear to you. You must give up your attachments to be free. That's very Buddhist. I recall Buddha saying that. All attachments lead to pain. You must give up your attachments to be free. But what are you giving up to be free? Really? Your judgments, your attachments, your expectations, your boundedness to manage life instead of flowing with it. What else must you be willing to give up to be free? Are you willing to give up your ego, your willfulness, and your intellect? It is not life that hangs you up that creates stress. It is your perceptions and your attachments to these perceptions that create all the stress. So where are your stresses? In your mind, of course. So, you want to be free? Then stop looking outside of yourself for freedom. The inner world of your mind must you let go to be free. For it is in your mind that you are either free or shackled. Oh. So, you want to be free. Then just release all your memories, the buried hurts, all your fears that are only in your mind. To be free is to release. In Hawaiian, that's called kala. To be free is to look inside of yourself, inside of your mind. For truly the legacy of freedom is in your mind. To be free within is to be free without. To be free within is to be free with all. To be free within is to be one with me. Where freedom is, has been, and always will be. Let's close our eyes and internalize this. I'm going to say a prayer. Ao Makua. Father, Mother God, thank you for this opportunity to bless ourselves with these truths, with this wisdom that originates from you. And we all hold in our hearts. And we all know these things at the core of our being. And we forgive our shallow minds for projecting onto others and projecting onto ourselves. We forgive all the mistakes we think we made in this dream. And we forgive all the mistakes we think others have made and are making now in this dream. We open our hearts to the infinity and the beauty of life as heaven on earth, without the judgments, without the resentments, without the guilt and the shame. We renew our innocence in you, God, today. And we ask and receive the ability to view life through the eyes of the angel that we were born to be. through the eyes of purity that Jesus and so many masters have shown us can be done. Give us the strength not to attack others with our judgments as we look around on this world. Give us the strength every day, every moment to remember that we are love. We are your love in this body, here on earth. And we are here to share that love without limits, without boundaries, regardless of how things may look, feel, or seem to our programming. Thank you for the ability to thrive here on earth with the abundant inheritance that you have bestowed upon us as your son, your child, your offspring. We are here to remember how to be love and to share that love that we are. That's it. Lead the way. We belong in heaven, here on earth, as it is in heaven. Thank you, thank you, thank you for forgiveness, for the process of discovery about our own programming and our own shortcomings, our own mistakes. Thank you for the ability to see how our ego is so precise in its judgments, arrogance, ignorance, and flip that into who we are as kindness and generosity and compassion. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I send this blessing off with a Hawaiian chant. And we blow it into heaven. Ao makua mai ka po waiola ho ikea mai ikeola. Great Spirit, bring forth the water of life and manifest this pule, this prayer. Amama ua noa, lele vale akuala. And I blow it into heaven and make it so. And so it is. Blessing you all and thank you for coming. Share the replay. A lot of juicy bits in this one. Yeah. Share the laughter and the grace that's been planted here this morning. Spread it around. And invite your friends to join this podcast next week and bring their questions. And I'm opening the podcast for people to enter into this room, into the studio, and share their feelings and questions so that we can expand what it is we're working on as a collective. So God bless you and thank you for showing up. You are the light of the world, as I am, as we are, the light of the world. Let's go out and share some love. I am filled with courage to share our love. Our life is one. My heart is opening the way through the truth and the light. You walk with me everywhere I go. You carry me through the emptiness, filling me with your gentle grace, showing me how to love. Ahui ho, everybody. Malamopono. Take good care of yourself. Love yourself more today than you normally do. And I'll see you next week. Ahui ho.